This is One-on-One, an interview series with Planeswalkers Jarl Bjorno, where we learn more about our brethren fighting alongside us. Enjoy the show. Today's guest is none other than Mythic the Mastermind.
Hello everyone, Jarl Bjorno here with a very special broadcast, one-on-one with Mythic the Mastermind. Today we're doing a Q&A with one of our biggest and most esteemed builders. He comes to us from YouTube and is a content creator and is well known for his builds, the Dark Tower and the Builder Syndicate, among many others such as the Gut Statue. Hello Mythic, how are you?
Hello Bjorno, I am doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. This is a new thing that we're doing, just trying to start something that maybe goes a little bit more in depth to specific members here at PlainsWalkers, and I felt like maybe people could come out of this knowing a little bit more about Mythic. Can you tell us a little bit, Mythic, about yourself personally? You don't have to go too much in depth if you don't want to, about who you are so people know who I'm interviewing.
So I am Mythic Builds. I am mainly a builder. I play Valheim a lot. And, about myself. Well, I live in Cyprus. So that's something, I guess. And I consider myself to be one of the most underrated Valheim builders in the world.
That's really funny that you would say that, because almost every person that knows anything about building in Valheim knows who you are.
Really?
So not only are you probably one of the best builders on our servers and in Planeswalkers, but personally I felt like you're probably one of the most creative builders I've seen in Valheim.
I know a few people that know of me on the server, but overall, you know, if you look at my views and subs, it's maybe not enough people know about me, or maybe not enough people like my builds. Who knows?
I think it's more just, it isn't necessarily that your views and your subs equal your actual talent. Personally, I feel like sometimes underdogs can come in with, less views, less subs, and do better than even the best, most well-known content creators.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and begin the interview. We're going to start with our first question. So we know that you love Valheim. Are there any other games that you enjoy or feel everyone else should know or play?
Let's see. I enjoyed Divinity 2 Original Sin quite a lot. Witcher 3 as well. I used to be a Path of Exile player. And I mean, I played a lot of games, mostly MMOs. And, well, League of Legends, which I do not recommend anyone starts playing, because,
Path of Exile, that's definitely one that caught me off guard. Me and my wife did a Path of Exile run, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. It's pretty much just a Diablo clone, but it's very fun to play.
It's very complex as well, and it can, if you start messing with the talent tree, you can lose a lot of hours.
I do remember that. I do remember the talent tree being very expansive.
Have you... When have you played Path of Exile?
When did I play Path of Exile?
Yeah.
I want to say 2020.
2020, so relatively. Right.
Yep, just looking for free games to play and something that I could play with me and my wife, and that happened to be free. So it was a great way to sink some time into something without having to pay anything.
To be honest, I haven't really played many games since I started playing Valheim. It just kind of took most of my free time.
What brought you to Valheim?
So what brought me to Valheim? A friend of mine actually came up and told me that, there's this great new survival game, we should play it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't very big on survival games back then, and Valheim really got me hooked. It is a survival game, but it has that RPG element to it. And it's not like this hardcore thing where you have to stay hydrated or you'll die. It's
It's
a lot
survival,
more
but it's not like
forgiving in that manner.
it's not like ultra survival. It's not like you're saying, having to drink water, and yeah, you do have to eat, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll die if you don't. It just means you probably need to be careful.
It has a lower skill floor, I guess. Or maybe not skill, but, lower dedication floor.
It being Viking themed, did that do anything for you, or was it mostly the gameplay?
Well, I do like, this middle-aged fantasy stuff. Vikings included, middle-aged ancient history, that kind of thing. So maybe it did. I do like mythology as well. So that might have been part of it.
Did you, just a kind of a side question, did you watch Vikings, the show?
No, I didn't.
Because I know a lot of people.
It's on my list. It's on a very long list of things I want to watch.
The fact that you don't know who King Ragnar is just, it blows me away.
I mean, I've seen like videos with moments from Vikings, so I know more or less who Ragnar is, Ivar, and all that. Kind of. Mostly Ivar.
Do you do anything artistic outside of Valheim? Do you pull inspiration from anything in the real world?
I have a bachelor in fine art. So I am an artist by profession, you could say. I have a lot of artistic stuff. I have a lot of things on my Instagram. I mean, we could put it in the description. Link to my Instagram in the description below.
Do you ever find yourself driving or walking around town and looking at buildings and being like, that would look cool in Valheim? Because I feel I myself do that sometimes.
A few times, yeah, I did catch myself doing that after I started playing Valheim. Like, I see patterns of some houses and I'm thinking, maybe I should incorporate that on my walls, but I never do. Strangely enough.
What is it about building that you enjoy most?
I enjoy how versatile it is, and I also enjoy the fact that you have to try to get a really spectacular result. Like, you have to... It's like a puzzle, right? You want to do something. You want to build something. But there are certain limitations in the Valheim building system. And you need to think, you need to use your brain and find a way to overcome these limitations. And I do that very often in my builds.
Speaking of limitations, what is your favorite mod? Do you have a favorite mod?
Ooh, so right now it's Infinity Hammer. Definitely Infinity Hammer. And a close second is Gizmo. Those are
really, really good mods for building. So we have two servers here at Planeswalkers. We have our modded server Kattegat, and we have our slightly quality of life, vanilla server Asgard. Is there one server that you prefer over the other?
Kattegat.
Is that mostly because you put so much time and effort into all the quests and balance design changes that you've been brainstorming with the group?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Because Kattegat gives me the option to do those things, and I put so much time into Kattegat because I prefer it. I like it. I don't know what it is, but after I started playing with all these mods like Valheim Legends, the Mine Shafts, Creature Level Loot Control, Infinity Hammer, I just couldn't go back to vanilla. Like, I played in Mistlands a little bit, and there was something missing, you know?
What do you feel
It
was
just
missing?
wasn't the same. My Valheim Legends abilities, I guess. Uh, maybe.
So basically, it was just hard
I
to go
can't say
back.
them up stronger. Yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of there's a lot of versatility in Kattegat. You can put a lot of MMORPG elements into it, and I really like MMOs in general. I used to, at least, before life got busier.
So
But
the thing with
yeah,
Valheim, the game vanilla itself, how do I explain this without offending the entire
it's
community?
a really good base.
Exactly, it's a good foundation. It has everything you need
Foundation.
to build pretty much anything you like, because the game in itself is a sandbox game. So you build
Yeah.
and make it your own. That's what a sandbox game is. So to go into a sandbox game and only have maybe a fourth of the complete game in your hands, it's gonna feel like some parts of the puzzle are missing. And that's not saying that the game is not in itself a complete
Oh no,
idea. It's just more that, its current state right now is it's a puzzle there in front of you, and it's just missing a few pieces. And you feel like those
no.
pieces are missing, and that's what the mods kind of come in and do.
I used to play vanilla without mods before I came into Kattegat, and I thought, I like the way it is. I don't feel like I need any mods, any extra armors, any extra enemies. And then I was like, okay, I take that back. I actually need those things. This has insane potential. So yeah, I'm mostly playing on Kattegat right now, but I still build vanilla from time to time. I have a massive vanilla build coming up, hopefully, if I don't get fatigued. So yeah.
So you're a planeswalker in what I say when I mean when I say, if I can actually say that correctly, is that you are a full member of Planeswalkers, as in we offered you membership at one point and you accepted. Since you became a planeswalker, you are now on the leadership team and you're a big part of the pillars that make up the group. Is there anything is there anything about the group or its journey so far that you maybe would have feedback on? What are your thoughts on that?
Feedback. I don't know. My thoughts on the journey so far. It started really well with a lot of potential. It faced a few hiccups. I think the main weakness of our modded server, because that's what I'm mostly focused on, is the fact that mods are buggy, and the more mods you have, the more things you have to fix every time they get updated.
So it isn't
But I feel like
necessarily the group that you feel needs.
the
It's just that the way mods
I think
and the servers work.
I think the group is fine. I can't think of anything particular that I don't like.
So not many
Yeah,
people.
I think it's a very overall it's a very positive group. It's very chill, right? There's been very little toxicity in the community in general, and whoever was toxic got, they're just desserts. So yeah, I enjoy the community.
This is kind of a bonus question I'm going to kind of throw in there. Who's your favorite member in Planeswalkers? Favorite person to play with, maybe, or favorite person to chat with,
God.
or...
Oh, okay, let me think. Hmm. There's a few that come to mind, but I think my favorite person to chat with is you. Now that I think about it, yeah, I really do enjoy our conversations.
I appreciate that. I'd probably
Okay.
say you and Knife
Hmm.
are probably my favorite two people
I've s-
on Planeswalkers. I
that,
mean, I love everybody that's on our team. You guys are all my
yeah,
bros.
of course.
But
Yeah, but
if I was to pick two people to be on a stranded island with, and that would probably be you and Knife.
I could build stuff.
You could.
I'm
You
warning
could
you,
build a little
I'm not very good at building in real life.
Knife could have a little spear and stab some fish, and then you could be building a little hut. I'm not sure what
We'll
I would be
figure it
doing. I would
out.
be going, it's Jarl Bruno here on a stranded island.
You'll be commanding us to do stuff. You're the leader.
I don't really like commanding. I'd rather lead by
Mm.
you know what I'm trying to say. I'd rather
Yeah, lead by example. I know.
exactly. If you are
That's what a leader
humble
should be.
and kind with everyone, even the people that don't treat you kind, at the end of the day, you have no regrets.
True.
So, do you have any goals or aspirations for yourself, or maybe for what you feel the team should aspire to? Would you care to share that?
You mean as far as the servers go, or just the team?
Any
the
of those
people in
things.
Okay, so my personal goals, I think I'm pretty high up at this point. I don't think I could go any higher. I'm in the big six, so to speak. Uh, as for the server, I think we can be the best modded Valheim server out there easily. Especially once the game is finished and the modding community can go all out. Oh man.
I didn't even think of that. Just the fact that the
'Cause-
game isn't complete yet, and when the game is complete, we will no longer. Well, there will come a point eventually when the devs are like, we're done, and Valheim is finished, and we will no
maybe
longer have to do
modders will
updates.
get. I mean, there'll probably be a few updates here and there, but hopefully there will be some support for the mods.
I know that the
But yeah.
devs said that they wanted to touch on that, but they felt like they couldn't get to it until the game was complete.
Yeah, I think that's a wise thing to do. It's a lot easier to do that once you've finished the game.
If you could go
It's gonna
back,
be-
go ahead.
It's gonna be painful until the game is finished, but if we bear through it, great things will come.
Not only that, but we're learning a lot. Just day in and day out, different mods that come into existence and different configurations that are unlocked with a new update. You learn something new in this type of content, in this type of entertainment. You learn something new a lot, and that's the great thing about Valheim.
Yeah, and you tinker with all these numbers. You try to balance stuff, change the settings. It almost feels like you're a game dev in a sense. Almost.
Yeah, it kind of circles back around to what we said about Valheim being a great foundation. If you really think about it, it truly is probably one of the best survival games to ever come out.
It has the potential to surpass Minecraft. Maybe not in numbers, but in the modding side. And quality, I think it's already surpassed Minecraft, to be honest.
What I call it is Minecraft for adults.
Kinda, yeah. It kind of is.
If you could go back and redo a specific build, what would it be and why?
Ooh, redo a specific build. I can't think of anything I would redo. I think. It's hard to think of anything because. So
instead of redoing it, maybe just make some changes. Anything you felt like you maybe missed.
If I went back with the knowledge that I have right now, I would probably redo. I don't know. I'd still like to, when I placed the Dark Tower, I made a lot of changes to reduce instance count. What I would have done instead is reconstruct the Dark Tower so that it has less instances and it looks a lot more like with Infinity Hammer. I could do so many awesome things to the Dark Tower. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I think my builds are fucking perfect.
Speaking of builds, what's your favorite build in all of Valheim from any content creator?
Ooh, okay. That is a really hard question, and I would not be able to answer it a few days ago. I would have given you a top 5. But right now, I'm gonna say, so you know who Dhakhar is, right?
Yes, and I have a
You
feeling I
must
know
have.
what you're about to say regarding the dragon.
So a few days ago, he had this insane Deathwing build, and yeah, he's using Infinity Hammer and Gizmo, obviously, but it's still insanely impressive. Like it's better than anything anyone has done with mods.
When I saw that, I thought it was a different game. I was like, what is this? There's dragons this big in Valheim now?
Yeah. I wasn't very surprised because I knew what the car was capable of, but I was like, damn, now I have to try and surpass this. Oh my god. How
Keeping
am
you
I
on your
ever
toes.
going to? How am I ever going to?
So everyone knows that Iron Gate is very open with the community in regards to asking for feedback and ideas. Is there any ideas or any advice that you would give to Iron Gate regarding Valheim, and why would you give it?
Can I give a few? Okay, so thing number one, please, and I'm gonna say it as gently as I can, please, for the love of God, stop making things with iron and start using black metal instead. Like, black metal is so underutilized, and it's the most renewable metal in the game right now. It's also probably canonically the most powerful metal because you literally made us build a bigger, stronger version of the smelter just to be able to use it. So the fact that the Mistlands heavy armor had iron in it instead of black metal was very disappointing for me, for example. It definitely needs more love. And iron, I mean, there are so many things that have iron that you might as well just never use it again, and it will still be in super high demand, especially for builders that want stability. Like, it is the go-to stability thing.
Yeah, I feel like there should be
And
a stability above iron that makes you go even higher. Maybe black metal stability.
black, yeah, with black metal and core wood, I would like that very much. Uh, so yeah, anytime you think of iron, just every time you think of doing something with iron, just replace iron with black metal. Just do that, and all will be right in the world. So the other one is something that worried me a little bit because of some Twitter discussions that I've seen between Iron Gate and. So I feel like there's a bit of a tunnel vision thing going on with the concept of memorable moments. That, this was after the whole ballista thing, where Iron Gate would insist of not changing the ballista because it would create memorable moments. But that's the thing, right? Bad and unenjoyable moments can also be very memorable, but it's the kind of moments that make people quit the game. Not this game, but like, any game in general. And there's also memorable moments that make people remember a game for how frustrating or unplayable it was. Like, that's a thing. Memorable doesn't mean a good game necessarily. So don't let this memorable moments mantra prevent you from making the best survival game ever. because you certainly can. It has the potential to be the best survival game ever. I guarantee it.
Really good point.
I'm pretty sure there was another thing, but I forgot.
No
So we
worries.
can-
So I got one last question for you to wrap up the interview.
Mhm.
Why did you choose the name Mythic?
The name Mythic. So, as I said before, I do like mythology a lot. And since my first build, which was an early version of the Sky Mansion, I did think that I was going to do a lot of more mythical stuff, builds based on mythical creatures, dragon heads, and all that. I also do hold my own creativity on a high standard, creativity and imagination. So all of this together just made me go to the name Mythic. I don't remember 100% why I went with Mythic and not Epic or something else along those lines, but I went with Mythic. Maybe it just sounded better. No, it just had a ring to it.
So you
And
had
that's
full
why-
intention of putting mythical creatures up on your YouTube. That's why you chose it.
Oh yeah.
Did
I
not know
totally. Yeah.
So that wraps up today's one-on-one with Mythic the Mastermind. I am Yarbjorno, and of course with me is Mythic, and we're saying thanks for listening to this interview after the fact, if you're listening to a recording. Any final thoughts, Mythic, before we wrap this up?
You know what I would like to do? I would like to tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you're not subscribed, you're missing a lot of Valheim goodness. But I would also like to can I plug a few other people that I consider really awesome builders?
Of course.
I would also like you to subscribe to some builders that I think are not only really, really good, but also criminally underrated. So, Dhakhar, who we mentioned previously, Artifacts, Fia's Workshop, Buildozaure, and our very own Planeswalker, SorchaAzura. You can find links to their YouTube channels in the description below. And speaking of criminally underrated, there's also this website called Valhemians, or Valhemians, I'm not sure. It is a website full of good and great builders showcasing their work, and they even have those like monthly build spotlight videos where they feature some of the builds from within the website, and they have a build competition going on right now as well. So if you're a builder, or if you just like looking at cool builds, this place is definitely worth checking out.
So that wraps up today's one-on-one with Mythic the Mastermind. I am Yarbjorno, and of course with me is Mythic, and we're saying thanks for listening to this interview after the fact, if you're listening to a recording. Thanks, Mythic, for your time and for letting us do this interview with you today.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.